It was the night of November 22nd, 2019, when a quiet neighborhood in Harriet Creek Ranch, Texas, became the center of one of the most haunting doorbell camera clips ever recorded. At around 8 p.m., a two-story suburban home sat in darkness. The owners were away on vacation, and the only light came from the faint yellow glow of the porch lamp. Everything about the house seemed calm, until the doorbell camera suddenly blinked to life. Through the grainy, motion-activated lens, a young girl appeared. She looked to be no older than 10 or 11. In one trembling hand she held a small flashlight, its beam jerking wildly as she turned her head over and over, scanning the darkness behind her. Her face was pale, her hair slightly messy, and her lips quivered as if she'd been crying. Then she whispered something almost inaudible. "Help, please, someone help me." The girl moved closer to the door, pressing the flashlight against the glass panel, knocking frantically. She kept glancing back toward the street, like she was afraid someone, or something, was right behind her. Unfortunately for her, no one was home. The homeowners were hundreds of miles away on a weekend trip. Their smart doorbell system automatically uploaded every motion clip to the cloud, but no one saw the notification until much later. The footage ran for nearly 2 minutes. In that short time, the girl's panic only grew. She knocked harder, her voice breaking. "Please, please, let me in. He's coming." Then, suddenly, she froze, her head turning sharply toward the darkness beyond the camera's view. Her eyes widened. The flashlight beam flickered across the yard, and then she bolted out of frame. And just like that, the porch was empty again. The following evening, the homeowners returned from their trip. As they unpacked, they noticed a notification from their doorbell app showing unusual activity. Curious, they played the recording, and what they saw made their blood run cold. They immediately contacted the Denton County Sheriff's Office, explaining that a terrified child had appeared at their door the previous night. Officers arrived within the hour, reviewed the footage, and canvassed the neighborhood. But no one had seen a girl matching her description. No parents reported a missing child that night. No cars had been spotted on the street at that time. It was as if she had appeared out of nowhere and then vanished the same way. Local news outlets picked up the story almost immediately. Within a day, the haunting clip was circulating online, racking up hundreds of thousands of views. People on Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube were desperate to help identify her. But the search led nowhere. As with every unsolved mystery, the internet divided itself into camps of believers, skeptics, and storytellers. One of the first theories was that the girl was being chased by a kidnapper. Viewers pointed to the way she kept looking over her shoulder, the way her body tensed like she expected someone to grab her at any second. Others, however, believed it was part of a burglary setup, a tactic sometimes used by home invasion groups. In that scheme, a frightened-looking child or woman is sent to knock on a door late at night. When a concerned homeowner opens up, the real attackers rush in from the shadows. But the homeowners themselves, who had studied the footage frame by frame, didn't buy that theory. The girl's fear seemed too genuine, too raw. She wasn't acting. Her sobs, her shaking hands, the desperation in her voice, it all felt heartbreakingly real. Still, police found no footprints, no tire tracks, and no physical evidence on the property. The case went cold within weeks. Months later, an online user made a chilling observation. The girl in the Texas footage, they claimed, resembled Serenity Dennard, a 9-year-old girl who had gone missing earlier that same year in South Dakota. Serenity had vanished on February 3, 2019, after running away from the Black Hills Children's Home, a residential treatment facility near Rockerville. She had been diagnosed with reactive attachment disorder and disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, conditions that caused sudden mood swings and impulses to flee stressful situations. Hundreds of searchers combed the surrounding forest that winter, but Serenity was never found. Could it be possible, people wondered, that Serenity had somehow been taken across state lines, kept captive for months, and finally escaped, only to appear at that Texas doorstep begging for help? The timeline was eerie. The girl in the video was about the same age, had a similar build, and even matched Serenity's eye color. When Serenity's family was shown the footage, however, they said they didn't believe it was her. The voice didn't sound right, and a few facial features seemed off. Still, they admitted that the resemblance was haunting. Even the police couldn't rule it out completely. As time passed, the video faded from headlines, but every few months it would resurface online with new speculation. People tried enhancing the footage, stabilizing it, zooming in on her face. Some claimed they saw the outline of a shadowy figure behind her in the final frames. Others thought they could hear faint footsteps or a man's whisper in the background, details that were likely just artifacts of poor audio, but chilling nonetheless. Despite all the theories, no one ever identified the girl. There were no matching missing person reports in Texas or nearby states. No local schools recognized her face. The FBI reportedly reviewed the clip in 2020 but reached no conclusions. For the homeowners, the incident never stopped haunting them. They later said they couldn't shake the guilt of knowing a terrified child had begged at their door while they were miles away. "If only we'd been home," the wife told a reporter, "maybe we could have saved her." But no one ever came forward. No body was found. No suspect was named. Internet sleuths later uncovered that the house across the street had experienced strange activity around that same week. One neighbor's security camera reportedly caught what looked like a white pickup truck circling the block several times between 7:45 and 8:15 p.m. That footage, however, was too dark to identify the license plate, and investigators couldn't connect it to the case. Another eerie coincidence surfaced when a local resident claimed she'd heard screaming near the greenbelt behind the neighborhood that night, followed by the sound of a car speeding away. Police searched the area but found nothing. All that remains is the 2-minute clip, silent, grainy, and endlessly replayed by those trying to make sense of it. Some believe the girl was kidnapped, managed to escape, and was recaptured moments after the camera stopped recording. Others think she may have been a runaway from another town, hiding from abusive guardians or traffickers, only to vanish again before anyone could intervene. And then there's the possibility that she never existed, that the footage was an elaborate hoax, staged by someone seeking attention. Yet experts who've analyzed the video say nothing about it suggests digital manipulation. It's real footage. But of whom and why, no one knows. Today, nearly 6 years later, the Harriet Creek Ranch doorbell video remains one of the most unsettling mysteries ever captured on a smart home device. Every year around the anniversary, new Reddit threads appear with titles like "Has anyone identified the Harriet Creek girl?" Each time, the answer is the same: no. Even seasoned detectives have called it one of the strangest cases they've seen. "You can usually tell when something's staged," one investigator said, "but that girl's fear, it was real. And we may never know what she was running from." The house has since been sold. The new owners reportedly replaced the doorbell camera, but locals say the memory of that night still lingers. Some neighbors claim that late at night, when the wind moves just right, you can hear faint knocking on the porch, 3 soft taps, then silence. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just an old story that refuses to die. But for those who've seen the footage, one image never fades. A little girl standing alone in the cold Texas night, flashlight trembling, whispering into the darkness, "Please, help me."